Almost there. Soon the fields will finally be combined and we will reach day 3. But first, 3 men, each of whom are main event millionaires, will take center stage. The 1995 champion who was advanced to 4 final tables. A member of last year's November 9 who has his sights set on a return trip. And a newcomer to the table, 2004's third-place finisher, Josh Aurier. We're almost there. Stay alive.
One time.
Because before you can play on day 3, you have to make it through day 2.
If you want to see the hand, you're going to have to watch it on TV.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky with Norman Chad. I'm Lon McCarran. We are halfway through the final day 2 session of the main event. And while many have exited, the Rio is still crowded with some of the best poker players in the world. Among them are former main event champions like Doyle Brunson, bracelet winners including Barry Greenstein, and former players of the year along with 2010's leading contender Frank Casella.
I'm so excited I'm going to Disney World.
Each is hoping to turn a $10,000 investment into nearly $9 million here at the Rio. And at the featured table, the dynamic duo of Dan Harrington and Jeff Shulman, welcoming a third season pro to the scene, Josh Aurier.
Josh, how many are you playing over there?
Like 50, 52 or something.
You came with 60. Did you? What happened?
I wanted to keep some. Souvenir.
Is that right, though? 50?
52, 53.
Okay. They should make you wear a sign hanging around your neck with your chip total on it.
You got plans for me?
I just want to keep the chips out of your hands.
Dan Harrington, 4th at the 2004 main event. Josh Aurier, 3rd that year.
Josh Aurier on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam looks down at Queen 10 offsuit.
Josh made it look easy. At age 24, he won a bracelet, the first time he ever cashed at a World Series event.
Josh is 35 now. He has 2 World Series bracelets. Folded over to Dan Harrington. Dan with ace-6 of clubs.
Harrington was 40 years old before he ever played at the World Series, so he's a late bloomer.
Dan folded. Shulman folds over to James Boyle from the coastal town of Havre de Grace, Maryland. King 7.
Boyle is the lighthouse keeper there, but he says it's by default because he lives next door to it, and he just calls maintenance when the bulb needs changing.
He'll go heads up against Aurier. The flop, 9-8 queen. Aurier with top pair and a gut shot. Boyle just with king high.
Geez, I could be a lighthouse keeper.
Boyle checks.
I also could be a card protector.
Aurier checks his queens. Turn card now is a king, and Boyle now leads, pairing his king.
I'll bet you a light just went on in James Boyle's head.
Aurier with a straight flush draw. Boyle bets 2,300.
Josh now perhaps regretting he didn't bet the flop. The hand might have been over.
He'll come along, though. But he needs help on the river, and Aurier gets it. Hits a jack for a king-high straight.
Josh now regretting he didn't raise the turn.
Check.
Boyle now checks. Aurier. That's 5,100. And Boyle will pay him off. And Aurier gets a nice welcome gift here at this table.
The lighthouse needs a new bulb. And Josh Aurier now with a bigger chip stack to rest his duck on.
All right, wrong guy's getting the chips.
You can't have all the fun.
Aurier's presence could make things lively here at this featured table tonight. Norman on day 1 with the field so big, it's rare to see 2 well-known pros sitting at the same table. On day 2, there are fewer well-known pros remaining, so it's even more unusual. Yet we have 3 top pros, each with main event final table experience sitting together. This is indeed a special treat.
Lon, we've got 2-time bracelet winner Josh Aurier, who made the 2004 main event final table. We've got Jeff Shulman, hoping this is the year of the Shulman's Part 2. And we've got the incomparable Dan Harrington, who literally wrote the book on Hold'em and might still pen another chapter, this one titled My 5th Trip to the Final Table.
Dan might be due. His last trip was in 04. He finished 252nd last year. Out into the field we go. 150 tables in play.
Are you in the call?
Chris Ferguson, the 2000 world champ, all in with pocket queens to double up. The queens will have to hold up against the pocket fours of Ali Al-Shanabi.
Ferguson has been struggling at the World Series the last couple of years. Maybe he needs a makeover.
The flop 9 king 10 all hearts. Ferguson adds a straight flush draw. Turn card is a jack. He improves to a straight.
And Chris will survive his all-in. They would chop the pot if a queen comes on the river.
It's a deuce on the river, so Chris Ferguson will win the hand and take that whole pot. Ferguson still short here on day 2, and he's got a lot of work to do. At another table, 1976 and 77, world champ Doyle Brunson just moved all his chips in on a board of 9 jack 7. Marcel Cole thinking what to do.
It's Casper. The first hand is Casper.
Doyle with his trusty card protector.
You deserve respect. You just got it.
Cole lays it down and shows a jack.
I've been playing too tight.
But like Chris Ferguson, Doyle's still got a lot of work to do here.
You did the right move. Let's put it that way. Right
Now
there.
Doyle will sleep well tonight.
Suited Queen 10.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
In that hand? Really?
Yeah. I almost wish you'd have called it.
So do I.
Doyle says he was just on a draw. He still knows how to needle with the best of them.
Over to table 2 and Guinness World Record holder for consecutive hours played, Phil Locke. With Queen Jack of clubs, Phil called a 2,000 chip raise from John Corsi, holding Ace King off under the gun. On the button, local pro Ben Yu also called with King 10 of hearts.
Phil Locke, 1 world record, but no cashes at this World Series.
Here's the flop, 3-way action. 10, Jack, 9. Locke with top pair and an up and down straight draw. Corsi with a Broadway draw. You with middle pair and a gut shot. Corsi bets 6,000.
Phil Locke says there are 3 things he's always wanted to avoid: schedules, work, and bosses. I give you a poker player.
Locke putting more chips together. A raise to 18,400. That gets Ben Yu out of the hand. Now to Corsi. He's got that folding face, and he does lay down.
For $20 cash, I will show you both cards, but you have to pull it out and produce it, not owe it to me, because I don't want to mark it for 20.
I'll give you 10.
I got 10 on
$10 bucks.
No,
Yeah.
10 and 10?
I'll give you 10.
There you go.
What a grift artist.
Okay. I had Queen. Now I've paid $9,960.
He takes your chips and takes your money.
Chopping it down, you know. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You get 10.
So I owe you 10 back. There you go. Pleasure doing business with y'all.
Leave it to Locke to get maximum value out of a pair.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Back at the Rio, one man in today's field has a stranglehold on the Player of the Year award. 2010's only double bracelet winner Frank Casella. With kings up, he's poised to knock out Bill Cottam.
You are drawing at about half the deck.
Not that many cards.
Is the panda good at flush draws?
Cottam has a straight flush draw going to the river. The river card, a 9 of spades. Cottam comes up short and is knocked out.
Good luck, everybody. Next year.
Go get him, Panda. So from the current leader in the Player of the Year standings to the man who won it in 2007, Tom Schneider. Tom and his jacket are at the same table as November 9er Eric Buckman. Schneider was just raised all in by Mike Swick. Schneider has a better ace than Swick.
Like Casella, Schneider won 2 bracelets in stud events when he was Player of the Year.
So with his ace king, Schneider calls all in. So Schneider ahead. Going to the turn, it's a 9. Tom's still good. The river card's an 8, and Schneider will win it and double up to about 24,000.
Breathe easier now. Just slightly.
Apparently Tom Schneider now lets his jacket do most of the talking.
Tom's still under the chip average. Is he texting? Oh, wow. Tom's wife, Julie, never far away.
There she is.
That's a little too perfect to have that recorded. Somebody's ringtone.
I might re-record that.
That recording's got to violate some type of interstate decency law.
It could be a long tournament for his table mates if Tom keeps winning. And speaking of long hours at the poker table, back to the new king of continuous play.
How long was the record you were breaking? Well, there was a lot of different types of records. The official Guinness one was 72 hours and a handful of minutes. But there's a lot of guys that had Doyle and Johnny Moss and Paul Harvey. Those guys stayed up 5 days, whatever. It happened to be videotaped with witnesses, you know.
Yeah, I made that same mistake with my second wedding.
In a cash game. It was fun.
The record was actually 78 hours. Phil not only wanted to break that, he wanted to hit 100.
In 22 seconds, I will have played poker for 100 straight hours in this chair. From when I got the idea to do this until 3 weeks before, I thought I was a shoo-in. At the beginning of my session, I was buying in for small amounts. It's a long garden to hoe, road to hoe. What's the expression? At hour 40, put 100,000 on the table. You want a piece of me while I hallucinate? You came to the right place. They all thought it was nuts. This is probably a very unwise decision, but I can't help myself. I need the adrenaline, you know? And at hour 78:45, 3, 2, 1. Felt like super powerful and at one with the universe. I was like, yeah, if I felt strong at hour 78:45, I want to get like the fat 100. And then at hour around 1:14, the reason why I quit was because there was not one moment where I felt tired. And, you know, when super massive trauma happens, the human kind of like tricks itself and says, oh, no problem here. And I had been saying no problem here for 14 hours. And I was like, maybe there's a huge problem. And maybe this is time to click off. I would have liked to go 5 more hours. That would have been 5 days. But I was happy with the 1:15.
A real man would have gone 5 days.
I highly recommend it as an experience for anyone who feels that they have some sort of enduro thread in them anyways, and they're hungry for some sort of experiment. It was so positively fulfilling to my life. It's incredible.
For some perspective, it will take only about 80 hours of play to reach the main event final table. Time now for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Wildcard Hand.
I actually hold the world record for consecutive wildcard hands guessed incorrectly.
Broken almost every show. Josh Aryeh with Jack 8 offsuit.
Josh caddied for a friend of his, former Braves pitcher John Smoltz, when he tried to qualify for the U.S. Open this year.
Josh raised a 2,000 to Mark Church. And Mark has the Jack Link's wildcard hand.
Church studied law for a while in college, but then said, hey, let's play poker.
33-year-old German pro makes a call, 2,000 from the cutoff seat.
Well, I'm going to put Church then on one of those hands I don't like, King-Queen offsuit.
Harrington folds. Shulman now in the small blind, lays it down.
3 out of 4.
King-Queen's one of those hands you might not play in early position, but from the cutoff you will. I still hate it.
Big blind fold, so Aryeh and Mark Church with the mystery hand. The flop is 8-7 queen, 2 clubs. Aryeh hits middle pair.
Out of position with middle pair. Josh probably just wants to bet it and end it right here if he can.
He is reaching for some of his small stack, 3,700.
I've got my guy on King-Queen.
Yep. He calls.
Well, he's either playing top pair passively or Church could have a club draw.
Turn card is a deuce. That doesn't change anything that we know of.
See, Church knows Josh can be aggressive, so it's possible he's letting Josh carry the action and dig his own hole.
If he's digging, the hole is getting bigger. He bet 6,200.
Josh will try one more time to shed Church.
Well, Church comes along again.
If Church has a queen, it's a weak queen, or it's a club draw. Josh might know, I don't.
6 of hearts on the river.
I don't see any upside to Josh betting here. If Church has a queen, he's beat. If Church has a busted club draw, he's not calling.
He does check. So Church now.
Oh, here comes Church.
Oh, look at this. He leads out for 14-5.
Yeah, it's frustrating if you're Josh. Your opponent goes call, and then on the river makes a big bet.
God, why does this have to be so tough?
I just don't think Church would bet a pair of queens here on the river. It would be top pair, but my Jack Link's wild cardometer now thinks it's a busted club draw and he's bluffing.
Josh calls. Church shows ace queen. You gave up too early, Norman.
Man, I should have stuck with king queen. I was close, but then I screwed myself into the ground. I hate poker.
A huge loss for Josh and the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand. Aryeh knows this is when you need to be accumulating chips, not handing them over. Time to regroup. It has taken us 6 calendar days to do it, but here at the Rio, we're getting closer to completing day 2. Back to table 2 and Phil Lock. With King 10, he's going to the flop, heads up with Gary Dolinga at his suited ace. The flop is 5-10-10. Lock with trip 10s. Dolinga picked up the nut flush draw.
Dolinga caught the no-limit bug right after Chris Moneymaker won the big one.
35.
Dolinga bets 3,500. He was the pre-flop raiser. Locke makes the call.
Just a smooth call. Phil thought about pouncing right there.
Turn card is a 7 of diamonds, and Dolinga hits his nut flush. Now he checks.
That's a sneaky check. I love sneaky checks.
Phil Locke makes an 8,000 chip bet.
A raise.
He's going to raise, Lon.
Let's see how much. Dolinga check raises all in.
A check raise all in against Mr. I can play poker and talk for 115 consecutive hours.
See, Locke needs almost 23,000 to
I put
call.
myself in a tough spot. Well, if you're going to play poker and you're going to call raises with junk like this, you also have to accept you're an idiot for calling with that kind of hand. Maybe I could have gotten out of this.
Phil beating himself up correctly for playing the type of hand that just gets you in trouble.
Phil Locke does commit the chips. Dolinga hasn't turned over yet, but I think Phil knows what he's up against. It is the nut flush.
The nuts. I should have taken the free card.
7-5 king or another 10.
Locke needs a 7-5 king or 10 to knock off Dolinga.
All right, the river card. 6 of clubs is a blank for Phil Locke. Dolinga wins the hand and doubles up.
Phil Locke takes his medicine, and Gary Dolinga takes his chips.
Dolinga with almost 75,000. Phil Locke down to 40,000 now. Back to the field among the survivors so far. Former Survivor contestant Jean-Robert Ballon.
I'm sorry, Jean-Robert is calling the cameras over? What is he, Scorsese? Directing Goodfellas?
Got pocket kings as a king on the board. And he's going to bet it. 6,000 from Ballon. Is that enough to take the hand?
And by the way, when a guy calls over the camera to look at his hand, that might be a tell.
Jean-Robert takes the pot. They want him to show, but he won't.
Jean-Robert finished in 9th place on Survivor. I'm not sure what that paid out, but 9th place in the main event will pay over $800,000.
Pro Gavin Smith had a nice payday this summer, winning almost $270,000 and his first bracelet.
You folded to me? Blues and blues. I come to the table right away. Right away, baby. That's the only stuff I play.
See, he's polite. He holds up the cards. He doesn't call the cameras over.
Gavin's best main event finish came in 2004, 52nd place. He's approaching 40,000 chips. To Prahlad Friedman, another one-time bracelet winner who's made some noise in the field today. He's all in.
Put a clock on him.
He gets J.J. Lew to fold.
How much time does Prahlad get?
He gets both players to fold, and he will take that pot.
He's got 10 seconds to drag in the pot. You know, Lon, Phil Locke's got the world record for longest poker session, and Prahlad's got the world record for most free throws in a minute. What a main event.
Most of the noise from Prahlad's table earlier came from that man, Ted Bort, the barking poker player.
I'm all in.
He's changed tables, and he says all in.
What, no speech? No sales seminar? No barking? Call the clock. That worked out nicely last time.
Bort says he barks as a way of showing his opponents he's a strong player, but it looks like he's going to silently get Clayton Bates to fold his hand. Bort takes the pot and shows pocket aces. Bort's still pretty quiet, Norman. I guess no postman in the vicinity. Ah, there we go.
You know, a lot of communities have anti-barking laws now.
The barking can be heard all over.
I like your fans better.
They're quieter, though.
Right.
But the most innovative, though, fans were the Australians. I love that. Aussie.
Joe Hasham's year.
Last year, the final table, it was like a circus. Like the English guy had like full soccer chants.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was amazing. The whole begs thing. I even started doing it.
Action on Dan Harrington. Ace-Queen offsuit.
A long time ago when he lived in Boston, he played poker with a couple of college dropouts, Bill Gates and Paul Allen.
A raise to 2,300 from action. Dan pulled it over to Jed Friedman with Ace-King.
A student at the University of Michigan? Stay in school, son. Or if you want, you could transfer to the University of Maryland.
A call for 2,300 to Josh Aryeh on the button.
And you can see Action Dan's Ace-Queen already in trouble.
Aryeh with Ace-King also.
I'm all in.
And he re-raises all in to 16,004.
Josh pushes with 20 big blinds left. Pretty standard stuff. And with a call-in and all-in behind him, I'd think Action Dan would release his hand, but I think he's got other thoughts.
He is caught in the middle between Aryeh and Friedman, but he makes the call.
And now Jed Friedman with an all-in and a call in front of him.
And he lays his ace-king down. So REA's ace-king against the ace-queen of Harrington. And Friedman's sick about it.
Lots of mistakes being made. I'd just like to remind everybody to stay in school.
Flashback between these two to the 2004 main event final table. All right, the flop. REA at risk. 4, 6, 7. Ace-king still trumping ace-queen.
5 of
Dan needs
spades.
to add a chapter in Harrington on Hold'em about ace-queen.
5 of spades. That's what I need.
Turn card now is a 10 of clubs. Status quo.
I'll write the chapter on ace-queen. I can write, Lon.
Want to run it twice?
A queen, and only a queen, would send Josh REA home.
This is going to hurt.
The river card. It's a 7 of spades and a painless double up for Josh.
Why didn't that 7 of spades come on 4th Street? Really,
REA gets to stick around.
nice hand.
Putting a dent in Harrington's stack, Josh REA gets back on the road towards prosperity at the main event. Welcome back to the Rio, where it has been a roller coaster of a day for Josh REA, who began the day with over 100,000, fell below 20,000 at one point, and now has climbed back a bit thanks to his recent double up through Dan Harrington. Action continues. Dan Harrington with 9 tray, and he'll sit this one out. Shulman, ace 6 of diamonds.
His father, Barry, asked him to move from Seattle to Las Vegas about 10 years ago to help run Card Player magazine, and that's what led to him playing more poker.
A raise to 2,200 from Shulman, folded over to REA, ace jack of spades.
When Josh won a bracelet in 1999, John Jawanda and Howard Lederer were at the final table. When he won a second bracelet in 05, Chris Ferguson and Eric Seidel were at the final table.
REA made the call for 1,800 more. 2 players with an ace. REA has Shulman dominated. The flop is ace 7-6, an ace for both, but Shulman caught 2 pair. REA first to act, he checks. Shulman with aces up, bets 3,000. REA check raises, Shulman all in. Shulman with the call with aces up. He's favored to double up.
See how quiet both these guys are awaiting their fate? That's because they've been beaten down by years of matrimony.
Shulman at risk.
How do you feel about it?
Let's wait till the end.
Wise indeed. All right, turn card now. 9 of clubs. Jeff's 2 pair are good, but Josh can still steal it.
Josh REA can knock out Jeff Shulman with a river jack, 9, or 7.
The river card now is another 6, and Shulman will win it and double up with the full boat.
Every chip counts. Josh feels the sting of that one.
How quickly the chips come and go. Jeff Shulman will remain with us for a while at least, while Josh REA is thinking, get me off this yo-yo ride. Jeff Shulman over 38,000 chips now, which is still below this session's chip average of almost 50,000. 1,086 players have been eliminated so far tonight. There is mixed game specialist Barry Greenstein, who's still in it, which means he still has his book up for grabs.
I have ace on the river line, but on books on tape. I love Barry's voice.
Barry put out a bet. His opponent folded, and the chips are his. It's an easy game. All right, so from author to actor, there is Robert Eiler, better known as AJ Soprano.
AJ's come a long way since quitting that pizza parlor job.
Robert putting Carlos Oliveira to a decision for all his chips, and he lays down.
Good thing that guy folded. Eiler knows Paulie Walnuts.
All right, from a soprano to one of the voices of Springfield, Hank Azaria of The Simpsons.
And actually, Hank was really, really good in Huff. Remember Huff?
Among the many, many voices Hank does on The Simpsons are Moe, Police Chief Wiggum, Apu, the comic book guy.
I've never been filmed getting a massage before. It feels like...
Well, you're never filmed on The Simpsons. You're just doing voices like Disco Stu, Professor Frank.
By the way, Lon, we may be the only 2 people on TV who haven't had cameos yet on The Simpsons.
You are right. I will call Sam Simon. From the man of 1,000 voices to the man married to one of poker's most memorable voices, Tom Schneider in the hand right now, married to Julie, who's not here today.
At last year's World Series launch, she said stack them so many times that all I could think of was pancakes. So I challenged the Schneiders to battle it out to see who could build me the best breakfast.
And that is the subject of this edition of Heads Up with Norm and Chad.
I got a few tricks up my sleeve.
I'm sure that you do.
So, who cooks more at home?
Julie does, but that's not very often.
Oh, my burner's aren't going on.
Oh, that's too bad.
Tom says you're his biggest fan and biggest critic. Is he your biggest fan and biggest critic?
He's my biggest critic, that's for sure.
You're in big trouble.
Do you mind?
It's not a 2-hour show.
I'm trying to fill it up.
Let's go.
Is Julie more high energy or high maintenance?
You just took my pan. That's my pan.
Well,
that's your pan.
You can have
I already prepped it.
Oh.
Just stay out of my kitchen.
Yes, sir. I was getting yelled at. I'm sorry.
Are you all two peas in the pod or a case of opposites attract?
We are opposites in a pod.
I was going to say that we're peas that attract.
I got to tell you.
I got to tell you,
This is fantastic. You're going to love this. There you go, Norman.
I'm a little disappointed. The pancakes seem a little short stacked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Couldn't
of course.
stack them to the top. Told you these were good.
Yeah.
But these were sublime.
There
She
you go.
outdid you in the 09 World Series, but you outdid her in the kitchen.
This is the only time you're beating me this year.
Well, Tom may have won best breakfast. I'm not sure about best dress, though, Norman. That is not a look everyone can pull off. Back to table 2, Phil Locke, who opened raised to 1,000 with 6-4 of diamonds. John Corsi was one of 2 callers. The flop was 9 ace queen. Also in the hand, Chad Duran, who flopped middle pair and has a hammerlock on the hand. And he'll check it. Corsi now drawing very thin. He missed the flop. He checks also. And Locke also drawing very thin with the continuation donation, 1,600.
The Unabomber with some creative nonviolence there. He's got nothing.
Duran made the call with the best hand. Corsi lays down, so heads up to the turn. Turn card now. Deuce of hearts. Duran gets the check mark. He adds a flush draw. And he'll check again.
Let's see if Phil Locke wants to keep up appearances.
Phil seems to be motivated. 1,600 again.
But that's a tiny-sized bluff.
Duran just with a call again. All right, we'll see how the river plays out. Duran with the best of it. It's an 8 of spades. Duran has checked twice. Called 2 bets. Now Duran checks a third time.
Well, there is Squadouche and there is Nuclear Squadouche. Phil's got Nuclear Squadouche.
And Phil's running the bluff coast to coast, 7,400.
In for a dime, in for a dollar. Phil trying to take Chad Duran off this exact type of hand, 1 pair. Boy, Phil Locke impersonating a church mouse as he bluffs.
Duran is squirming.
Well, Locke playing a mind game with Duran with the small flop and turn bets and the big river bet.
And Duran lays down.
How about the $20 bet for the cards?
I'll go 40.
I'll take 20.
Here we go
20
again.
there. 20 more is 40.
It's like
Are you
watching a
in?
one-man sting operation.
If you'll throw a 20,
Yeah, he said he'd throw 20. All right, so I'm getting $40.
What a con.
There's the bluff.
I think Duran wants his money back.
He was
Nice
had
bet,
twice.
Entry fee. $40 more off the entry fee. Bro, I had to do it. There was only way.
no worries.
Yeah.
Nice bet.
Yeah, it was. You were in a weird spot.
More chips, more cash. Phil's having a productive night.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Back inside the Rio, day 2, moving on, and more of the main event field moving out.
See ya. See ya. See ya. See ya.
All right, let's get to the table of poker pro Jason Mercier holding pocket jacks. He is poised to knock out Brian Roberts, who has pocket 10s. Going to the river, Roberts looking for a 10. And the river card is an ace, and that will do it. Mercier KOs Brian Roberts.
Good luck. Crush it. Win the tournament, buddy. That's that guy.
Bracelet winner Jason Mercier, mellow and methodical.
He is one of the best, and to perhaps the best of all time. Doyle Brunson is all in again. And Doyle will win the pot again.
Texas Dolly last cashed in the main event in 2004. He still needs to chip up.
17th at the World Series of Poker Europe main event last year.
All in on 58.
That is the table of Chris Ferguson, who has put his last 3,800 chips in the pot with ace-7 of diamonds. Byron Kaverman in the big blind trying to knock him out. The 23-year-old has ace-king of clubs.
Ferguson third all-time in World Series cashes.
There's a king for Kaverman. Chris in trouble.
Chris now needs some running cards to stick around.
Turn card is another king, and that will end it. The former world champ knocked out.
I don't know if he's running bad or playing bad, but he has been mired in a World Series slump.
So Byron Kaverman knocks off the former world champ who hasn't won a bracelet at the World Series since 2003. So Ferguson saying his goodbyes.
Oh, I think Jesus just blessed seat 5.
A nice feather in Kaverman's cap. Of course, you knock off Barry Greenstein to get a copy of his book. Barry squaring off with Corey Burbick right now. A 4 falls on the river.
The Burbick cashed twice in last year's World Series and twice in this year's World Series.
Barry checked. Burbick checks. Barry says small pair. How small is it? Pocket trays for Greenstein. And looks like that will take the pot.
Barry with 3 bracelets and 46 World Series career cashes.
Greenstein's book may be the most widely distributed poker book. Barry pioneered the art of the knockout gift, which has since been mimicked by Greg Raymer, which begs the question, which bonus is more valuable?
When someone knocks me out of an event, I actually give away a copy of my book. I record the board in each of our hands, write my name down, the guy's name down, say what the event is. It's a fun thing. People enjoy it. Now Greg Raymer is signing fossils.
I started deciding I'll have a new fossil for every tournament, and if you knock me out, I'll sign it over to you and, put your name on it.
I mean, what do you want? You want a 5-year-old book or a 1,000,000-year-old fossil?
His book, it's bigger, it's showier on the shelf. Fossils are, yay big.
I think I've given away between 200 and 300 books by now.
I've given away like 24 at this year's World Series alone.
Maybe it'd be better if I start winning more tournaments so I can save on the books.
There's a lot more knowledge in Barry's book than there is in my fossil, but hey, my fossils are 300 million years old. That's got to be worth something.
Norman, what do you give away when you get knocked out of a tournament?
When I get knocked out, Lon, I now signed one of my prenup agreements to the lucky soul.
Before we head back to the feature table, let's see how our big 3 at the table stack up so far.
Since coming to this table, Aryeh's been the most active and lost the most chips. Overall, Shulman's been the most aggressive. As for Action Dan, not too active, not too aggressive, but getting the job done best.
So you're representing Win?
Yeah, Win Hotel. Winners.
Oh, winners, yeah, whatever. I represent the Red Sox.
Actually, neither one wins the World Series that often.
You play for the Red Sox?
No, that was a dream when I was a kid, but as soon as I couldn't hit the ball or field, that was over.
You still could have played for the Mets. All right, back to action on Jeff Shulman. He looks down at ace, king of diamonds under the gun.
Besides his great main event record, Jeff has cashed 4 times at the WPT Championship. He's a deep stack monster.
A raise to 2,200. The blinds are up to 500 and 1,000 on Kyle Ray, the 24-year-old, with 2 World Series final tables under his belt, 10-9 of diamonds.
He attended the University of Georgia, but did not graduate. Stay in school!
He called to Mark Church in the small blind with pocket aces.
I mentioned earlier that Church dropped out of school too, but you're not going to be dealt pocket aces all the time, Lon. You know as well as anyone that most of life is Jack Deuce offsuit.
And the poker player from Recklinghausen, Germany, with a re-raise to 7,200. Harrington gets out of the way. Back to Shulman, the original raiser. With ace-king. He re-raises all in. Happy will not be happy, Norman.
Bad timing for Jeff.
Church. Call. Will call the re-raise and put Shulman at risk. He needs lightning in a bottle.
Nice run. Shulman, about 40 big blinds left, like the ace-king, but it runs into pocket aces. The November 9 seems very far away right now.
All right, Shulman at risk. The flop is deuce, 8, 1 diamond. Nothing there for Jeff.
Yeah, that flop virtually seals Jeff Shulman's fate. He'll need a miracle runner now.
Running kings.
He definitely has to hit the turn or he is gone. The turn card is a 4. Church knocks out Jeff Shulman.
Look, guys.
He's got a magazine to run.
So Jeff's last 38,000 chips go into the stack of Mark Church. A rare thing indeed to make back-to-back main event final tables. It's not to be for Jeff Shulman this time around. And one player has won 2 bracelets during the 2010 World Series. Frank Casella first took down the stud 8 or better event, and then just 16 days later, he won the 7-card Raz as well. With a 3rd-place finish in the 6-handed no-limit hold'em event and 2 other cashes to his name, it's no surprise that Casella is the definitive leader in the 2010 Player of the Year race. The good times continue for Frank. He only needed the flop to have his latest victim drawing dead and out of here. Casella flopped the flush, and he wins it.
What a breakout year for Frank Casella. But I like this. Casella being extra careful here, making sure he's won the pot against someone who's already left the Rio before taking his chips.
Frank will now collect his new chips as we move back to the feature table. Saga of Josh Aryeh continuing. What a ride he has been on tonight, up and down. Action on Aryeh on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam. Ace 10 offsuit.
Josh will tell you, nothing like winning your first bracelet, but the second is so tough to get, you actually appreciate it more.
And he does have 2, a raise to 2,400.
The fields in the bracelet events are so big, they're not 7,000 strong like here, but they are large, and you never know when you'll get another chance to make a final table.
Small blind, James Boyle. Ace Jack offsuit.
By the way, I believe he is the only poker pro / lighthouse keeper in America.
Raise.
A raise has been announced, Lon.
How much?
Hold on.
Everything he's got. 13,008. That's what they call a small end.
But this would be for about 2/3 of Josh's small stack. Something Aryeh's got to think about. Got an ace. He's in a tough spot.
And he does make the call. And Boyle turns over the best hand.
Exactly what Josh Aryeh didn't want to see. His ace is dominating.
Indeed, if Aryeh loses this, he's not out of the main event, but I think he'll be able to view the exits from where he sits. All right, here's the flop. Boyle ahead right now and at risk. It is Jack 5 trade. Boyle hits his Jack, and that's as dry as it gets for Josh Aryeh.
And Josh Aryeh feeling the walls closing in on his main event.
Indeed, Josh needs runner something. The turn card is an ace, and that won't do it. And Josh has to give up most of his chips.
James Boyle can sit back down. And Josh Aryeh is the one who might have to stand up pretty soon.
The dealer shoves 29,400 chips to James Boyle. Aryeh left with under 5,000 and the duck. Since he joined this feature table, he has been the most active player, but he has also lost 88% of his stack. All right, let's get back to table 2. Phil Locke is in another hand with amateur John Corsi. Locke holds Queen 9 of clubs and called the 2,500 chip pre-flop raise after Corsi woke up with aces. To the flop they go. 8, deuce 5, no clubs.
The thing is, Corsi woke up with aces under the gun +1. Phil calling that raise from early position with a motley hand.
Check by Corsi. Locke.
Is Phil going to get fancy?
1 free card. Check.
Nice. That's 1 free card.
Good judgment.
All right, turn card now. Is a deuce, and that free card means Phil Locke's drawing dead now. Corsi checks again.
Corsi putting on a slow-playing clinic.
Locke now will bet 3,500.
Phil got fancy.
To Corsi with aces up now.
Call.
Makes the call.
And I just read Phil's mind. It's not good.
That's a scary thing. River card is another 8. The 2 pair on board. Corsi checks a 3rd time.
Check the flop turn in river with pocket aces.
Phil Locke. Again, reaching for chips. And they all go in the middle, betting Corsi all in.
Fancy is as fancy does.
Wow, I must play that.
Phil quiet as a church mouse when bluffing again. Hey, I think I just picked up a tell.
You never did that. I don't think you went all in all day, did you? You had an 8. I think you'd want to pick up a little bit more. 2. Oh, man. I got a call.
He makes the call.
You got it.
It's a good one.
Phil played a hand that he should have mucked, then got frisky with Squadouche, and ended up with a big pile of nothing.
I was thinking you would fold. I was wrong about that.
I don't know how Jennifer Tilly puts up with it.
Corsi up to 52,000. Locke left to stew and wonder about his failed bluff on the river.
Lots of other fish in the sea, Jen.
All right, let's get back to Doyle Brunson, who just re-raised all in after the flop, holding pocket sevens. Doyle's fate is in the hands of Joseph Ressler and his pocket jacks. The board is 4-8 tray, 2 diamonds.
Doyle gets called here. His main event will be in peril.
And Doyle does get a call and will need to improve to double up and stick around.
Doyle Brunson, as you see, a 9-1 underdog. He can smile, but on the inside, Doyle feeling the punch right in the gut.
No help on the turn.
Break my heart over here.
Doyle Brunson has to have a 7.
The river card now is a 6, and that will do it. Doyle Brunson knocked out.
When you knock out Doyle, you go on to most wanted posters in these parts for 30 days.
The new poster will be of Joseph Ressler, the 22-year-old from Washington, D.C.
The 76-year-old legend is going home.
The entire room pauses to give another well-deserved and respectful send-off to the Hall of Famer. But the main event stops for no one. We'll wrap up day 2 when we come back. Back at the Rio, if you survive Day 2B, don't get too cocky. Here are some notable chip counts that came out of Day 2A that will be waiting for you on Day 3. Johnny Chan, Patrick Antonius, 2 Mizrakis, and last year's 12th place finisher, Billy Kopp. About 1,400 players now remain in tonight's session, including Jean-Robert Ballon, who has pocket queens. He re-raised pre-flop to 13,000. Danny Bowling with ace-king just raised Jean-Robert all in.
Dang, dude, you couldn't go all in last hand?
Maybe he was waiting for the cameras.
All right, bro. You got me.
Oh, Jean-Robert.
Well, does he got you or doesn't he? Are you playing or not, Jean-Robert?
31.
Ballon's got almost 50,000 there.
Oh, Jean-Robert can't count that high.
All right, you got me.
Ballon calls all in. It's close, but Ballon has the edge.
It's a race for 100,000 chips.
And Jean-Robert Ballon's tournament life.
We need a queen.
He's ahead right now. And the flop, there's a queen. Ballon's sitting pretty. Turn card is no help to Bowling.
Only a jack knocks out Ballon.
The river card is a 9, and Ballon will double up.
No more short stack.
The survivor is still with us. By the way, Jean-Robert, did we have enough cameras over there for your liking?
Back to the 07 Player of the Year, Tom Schneider's table. He just moved all in with pocket sevens after the flop. He also has a straight draw. Steve Karp calls him down with pocket aces.
Another all-in with a massage. Never the right play.
Karp, 32-year-old Miami Beach poker pro, way ahead. Turn card is another 6. No help to Schneider.
Karp's pocket aces are holding up. Tom Schneider will need a 7 or a 5 for a straight to stick around.
The river card is a jack, and that will do it. Aces up KOs Tom Schneider. Tom's wife, Julie, will be sad that Tom was not able to stack him high at this main event. All right, let's get back over to the feature table and find out if Josh Arieh will make it through this Day 2. Action is on Josh.
How did Groucho Marx's duck get on the table?
That duck does obscure Josh's hole cards, but whatever they are good enough to have Josh all in now.
Josh Arieh now can only wait and hope.
To Church with ace deuce of clubs. And Church putting chips together. He re-raises to 6,800, so Arieh will be at risk. Over to Dan Harrington. King Jack offsuit. He folds. Next in line is Joe Hanna, 24-year-old poker pro from Ashtabula, Ohio. Pocket queens.
Boy, that's not a good sign for Josh Arieh.
Hanna re-raises all in. Church goes away.
We got David Williams' favorite hand.
Actually, Josh has the right type of hand to crack the big pair.
5-4 of spades for Arieh against the pocket queens.
At least give me some sweat.
Arieh at risk, looking for a lifeline.
Just don't flop me dead.
The flop, King Deuce Trey.
I got what I wanted.
REA's open-ended.
I got what I wanted.
Josh stands up and perks up with the up and down straight draw. REA still more than a 3-2 dog to survive the hand.
Turn card.
Ding.
Is a queen for Hannah, but that does not change what Josh
Doesn't
needs.
make a difference.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference, but Josh now with just one more chance to hit his straight.
I think that's just to dig it in for me, actually. That's what a turn card is. Just to make me feel the river a little bit more.
Josh REA needs an ace or a 6, or his main event is over.
The river card is a 9, and Hannah with his set of queens eliminates Josh REA.
First Jeff Schulman, now Josh REA. A couple of main event final tablists don't survive this feature table.
REA walks away while Johanna welcomes the last of Josh's chips into his stack. And Dan Harrington and the others can relax. Day 2 is finally over. So for Josh REA, surviving day 2B was not to be, and the dreams of a second or third main event title for these living legends will have to wait another year.
It's not good for Doyle.
2/3 of the starting field has been eliminated.
All right, guys, next year.
But for the 1/3 who survived, day 3 awaits.
Now I got some chips.
And even the world record holder knows it will take more than stamina to advance further.
Pleasure doing business with y'all.
There are plenty of dogs still in the hunt. And the quest for the final table continues next time.
Not dead yet.
For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Thanks for watching the World Series of Poker.